Hey, this is Christian Buckley with CollabTalk.
Hello, this is Michal Sobotkiewicz with KanBo.
And we're here as part of the interview series. We're going through different topics. We want to talk about something that is a hot topic right now, certainly with Microsoft Teams, the external sharing, the whole topic of external sharing and how collaboration, shocking, obviously, it usually extends outside of your own organization. You want to invite other people in, and how easy or difficult it can be to get external people collaborating inside of your space, whatever that product is, can determine whether end users stay with that technology or do this rogue or shadow IT thing and go find their own tool. So Michael, I mean, how has this topic impacted how you look at the products you're developing?
Okay, so first of all, Chris, the sharing of information to the customers I know, first of all, has two problems. One, it's very, very cumbersome, right? So you need, to enable people in Exchange, in Active Directory. I mean, I'm talking about, of course, about
from a SharePoint perspective, right?
On premise.
Yeah.
On premise. So then you need to get them some licensing, and then what do you open up? So it's the second problem is it's dangerous because what do you share? Do you share a file? Do you share a whole site collection? What else is there? And are you going to shut it down? So you see, most of the stuff was already regulated or solved by Microsoft in the cloud. So I like this development, seeing that if you share something in this new sharing experience, that you can actually say like, shut it down in 2 weeks. And then what can you share? You can share a file. And I think sharing a file is great, but it's way too less. I mean, because
it's just one aspect of your collaboration, of your interaction. And look, I mean, that's been like the number one, if you talk about shadow IT, that's really been kind of the number one scenario where we're both in, or I'm in my company, I've got my intranet, it's SharePoint on premises, it's locked down, it's secure. However, you're a partner, you're working on a project, but remotely, I need to interact and share with you. I can either then go through that process of, do we set up an extranet that can be just another standalone SharePoint environment, create a team site, invite you in, I manage those licenses, all those components, or do I just simply go and pop a file into Dropbox or on my Google Drive or whatever that that version is and share that out there? Then you have all those risks where you had a very secure environment, and then you're removing that and putting in a very unsecure environment and sharing that out with someone that has not gone through those security steps.
It's even worse. I mean, the best thing is that companies invest millions of euros in their security. They buy firewalls, F5 load balancers, stuff like that, and then you just send stuff by email. Like sensitive documents go open like a postcard from server to server, and certainly this problem has been more or less tackled by Microsoft. Of course, if you are in the cloud, if you're on-prem, you still have this problem. But even though I think that you need something more to share, which is obviously the context. So imagine, my imagination of sharing something would be, I can cut something out of my project. I don't want to speak about specific technical stuff, but I mean, just take a piece of my project. It's, few notes, maybe 1-2 documents, some conversations and stuff like that. And I would like to invite an external into this context. I'm not saying project context, and have him interact with me and of course of all the people of my team through that window that I've opened for him, containing this information that I want him to see. And I want him to be fully, involved into collaboration, like reviewing the documents, creating new versions of the documents, commenting, maybe delivering some subtasks and stuff like that. And once this is done, I can close that window, and the information stays with me because this is my information, and I haven't lost, a lot of time during this sending, and coordinating with this external. This is the vision that we've been chasing. That a document is very important part of it, but it's not all. And since we come to this context, which are encapsulated in cards.
Yeah,
that's basically where we came up with this external card sharing, where you can, even if you don't have this window, this piece open or created, you could even go and create a card in KanBo, just drag and drop the stuff that you would like to share, and then say, I would like to share this card. With whom would you like to share this card? With this person. All right, what happens next? The person gets an invitation. And when this person opens the link, guess what opens? Definitely not our secure KanBo environment. Definitely not the stuff where we invested millions to keep it, away from the attackers. So there is a special component which we call the proxy. So the proxy is something like a service that runs in the DMZ. To those who don't know what it is, it's like a internet-facing piece of technology where only the service is run, and this service is the only allowed to go, behind the scenes to another service to access the data of that very card that we shared. And this is actually the only thing that can be hacked or exposed. It's basically something that you shared anyway. So if it's hacked, it's only this information. But no one will get through the physical layers that of whatever how you secure the environment to get to the database of KanBo or other cards or other boards. It's not possible. Right. So we try to solve this problem on several layers. So it works for the on-premise, castles, or mountains. For example, in Swiss, there's a customer who said to us, oh, we want to do sharing, but we don't want to do it through the cloud because we actually bought a mountain, and in the mountain we have the servers because we want to stay secure. So even they could share certain information because it's physically secured and also contextually secured. This is basically how we think about it.
And that concept, it's not. Look, it's for SharePoint folks. It's not a new concept because we have the concept of the permissions trimming. So you only see those things which you have permissions to go and see. So you're not putting at risk the entire organization. Again, whether on-prem or online, that there's your SharePoint environment with all of the team sites, with all of the activities that happen. Exactly. Then you have the next reduced scope, which is that it could be the project, which might be encapsulated within a team site, or there could be multiple projects within a team site. Even there, you could have then within that team site and a project within that team site, you have a specific task that requires that interaction with this external player. So all that you are doing, when you look at risk, you're sharing only that subcomponent of a project within a team site within your overall environment, and you're collaborating on that. And you have that. Like if I'm sending a file to you, you're that external partner that we're collaborating on this in context to that task, that activity. There's that security layer of I know who you are. I've already verified that. I know I'm sending it to you. And the system has that footprint as well, that Christian sent this invite to Michael, so that you've got that audit trail as well. And so that if you are somehow compromised, that you see that it was limited to that shared file, that subcomponent of that. But I don't think that's, the types of intrusion, security issues around sharing are not generally in this scenario. I mean, I can't even tell you an example where this scenario has resulted in a breach. I'm sure there's one that's out there somewhere. But when it's two parties that know each other, I have trust to you, the system needs to allow me the flexibility to bring you into this as I need to in context to that task. Because this goes back to my initial statement. If the system is so locked down or there's so many controls that doesn't allow me the flexibility to go collaborate with whom I need to collaborate, when I need to collaborate, in context to my project or task, I'm going to go around that secure system to go get it done. It can be through email, which has some controls, some security aspects around it. But really, I mean, I can just download a file to a thumb drive, stick it on my home laptop, send it to you via Gmail. I mean, we've broken everything around that. As much as we like to think that our end users are not going around the process, when you're putting demands to get work done on your end users and then limiting how they can do that and their ability to go and quickly collaborate, they're going around you. It's happening. Definitely.
And basically giving the users, the possibility to open an already existing context with all its details with just a single click. I mean, you have to type, of course, the email address, and then just sharing it. And this act of sharing is also visible to all other members of your team. So
right.
If this is a customer,
having visibility from a management chain, you want that visibility. I think this is the collaboration as an organization we know about. We have visibility around, and when it's a shadow IT effort, you have no visibility.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely so. I mean, I'm not even talking about this. I mean, if you are want your information workers to be productive, I mean, you have to give them tools to really be productive, and not on one way you on the other the one part of the story is stay productive and do whatever you need to do, and then on the other hand is you're not allowed to. That's a contradiction. I mean, this problem we are partially solving by giving you the technical possibilities to fulfill the IT requirements to stay secure. Because we also supporting the physical layers and stuff like that. But on the other hand, of course, if you have a board and then you say this board is confidential, then just by setting it, you will not see any sharing buttons. Or if this is, let's say, not confidential, but it's whatever private level X, then maybe you will only have the possibility to share with a profile for the external, just to read it, not to change it.
Read only.
So all of this is already covered for enterprises. So you can actually pre-build or predefine sharing policies. So users are not allowed just to randomly select whatever they want. It's predefined and bound to whatever policy. I mean, we have an enterprise product, and those policies needs to be predefined, of course.
Right.
But I think the most important thing is just give the user something that is so flexible and so easy to use, he will not even go and look to work around it, because what can be easier, just one click, and sharing not one single document, but a task or something like this. So it's more granular in its build, because if you share a SharePoint site, you share everything. If you share a document, I mean, I haven't seen a tool around saying, I will share those 3 tasks, this 2 documents, and this part of a stream. Not possible, because there is no granularity like that. In KanBo, as a card, these are basic components, and right. The card is a natural window that you open to someone, even for a customer. Please, This is the card that shows the milestones, and you can discuss with us your current topics, and the team can see that. I mean,
that's a great an example of how that would work. Would be if I go and if I know, again, you're that external party, that partner that I'm working with to collaborate, I can go and create a card. And within that card, I can add from my secure SharePoint environment, and there's that audit trail there. It's still, they live in SharePoint, but I can add the relevant documents, maybe from 3 different locations, but are necessary for the completion of this task. I can, and then do that external share, invite you into that. We then collaborate in the context of that card around those documents, which live in 3 different places. collaborate on them, update, modify. You've got view only, but I'm making edits to those documents as an employee of the organization. Once we finish the collaboration, those updates mark the card as complete, say goodbye to you because that's all that you're involved in with this project. Those documents are updated within the SharePoint environment, and that is the definition of what the modern collaboration looks like, that modern sharing, to be able to go and interact in context, pulling these different pieces together.
Exactly.
And so there are certainly, different ways of Microsoft is trying to add some flexibility, different ways of sharing things out. You could go into and create a folder within OneDrive for Business and go and do that. But what's beautiful about this, again, is having the context of the conversation. The card can also have a list of tasks of the things that you and I need to interact around these 3 documents. And as we go through with due dates around that, we can mention other people, pull them in and interact in a much more flexible, dynamic way than going and setting up a folder, inviting people into, and where's the conversation happening with the internal, external people around those things. In the card, it's all in context. So it really is a great demonstration of what that modern sharing experience should look like.
Yes, and this was also one of our main targets, or what we wanted to achieve, to give you something that is so natural in this environment that, you have zero effort sharing, more or less, because you have no effort to create something extra and actually create a copy and then receive it, and then basically to merge it because you cannot share the original document, stuff like that. So this was our intention. And again, if you give tools like that to users, they will not even think about shadow IT or shadow cloud or bring your own device. Or that's a different topic. But bring your own cloud. Bring your own cloud. I was trying to say that. No, because there will be nothing faster than this. It's like with phones. If you give users WhatsApp or the chat in the phone, they will rather chat than actually, require this exclusive one-on-one time because it's faster. And we believe when we create the product here is that the only way to win is to give people something that is more convenient in its nature. And I think this is why iPhone won in the earlier days, because it gave something you didn't need to learn. It was natural.
Right.
So
having those native experiences, having the out-of-the-box experiences, people are like water running downhill. You place a stone in front of it, and the water just goes around it. It will follow that path of least resistance. Because at the end of the day, the technology is less relevant to just people want to get their work done. They want to accomplish the tasks that they've been assigned. And so if they have to go relearn an entirely new way of working, then it's another stumbling block, and they'll resort back to the habits of what's easy. Send an email, put it in this unsupported, third-party file sharing, because it's just what they're used to. So if you can add this, give them this flexible, secure, and contextual solution that is just as easy to go and use, then they are more likely to adopt and to leverage that technology. And by doing that, help support the security compliance measures that you have in place. And that's really what you want. That you need to, enterprise collaboration, you want to have that flexibility, but you also need to have that security compliance and the governance controls in place without disturbing the end user process. So
yes, exactly. We play by the rules from Microsoft, because we know that someone who goes into this environment actually has a lot of effort to secure stuff, and we need to respect that. We are part of this cloud.
Right. Well, Michael, thanks a lot. It's an interesting topic, and appreciate your time here. We'll catch you on the next topic.
Thank you, Chris. Bye-bye.
Bye.